love, that was a brand thing. That wasn't just something they were saying flippantly. That was something that I think Papoose was actively leading. And so I think for him, he had this vision, like we say we want men to have, like, vision of, okay, when she gets out of prison, we'll get her career back on track. He was alleging that he helped her with her music, right? You know what I mean? Had the reality show on deck. I get your point, S&M. I probably kind of agree with you in general. But for him, he's like, yo, we're going to put this brand together. We're going to have the golden child. So, I mean, I think he was doing all the things that we would want a man to do necessarily. Now, at some point in time, if she wasn't about that life anymore, or if something happened or something changed, we can surmise, right? Then that's cool. And then maybe for him, now he's stuck trying to figure out what he's going to do. He got a kid, he got a business they're trying to build. So in his mind, he's like, yo, maybe I can just amicably, we can back up off this. But the truth is, to Jay's point earlier, this became public because she was out here moving recklessly, right? And so I think a lot of times, if the roles were flipped, it was a dude that was out here moving recklessly and then leaving the situation behind, we would judge it differently. But I guess because Papoose is the one on the other end, we can look at it a certain type of way. And I think it was funny because I was having this conversation, actually yesterday, that people were like, well, why should we give him grace? I mean, please point out to me what you thought he should have done differently if in his mind he was being a stand-up nigga, right? If in his mind, for the most part, he has been a stand-up nigga, right? And I think it's okay for if a stand-up nigga gets ran over by a chick who has not been so stand-up, then that could be the case. I don't know if that's the case here. Then it's okay to point out the fact that, hey, she's a wild-ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Without it necessarily having to, emasculate him or take away from his alpha male position. Now, would I be in that situation? I would hope not. But I just try to understand how people arrive to it. I do think there's lessons that we can learn that sometimes when you mix your business with your relationship, that sometimes you find yourself staying a lot longer because you have more entangled and more invested. I think that could be a part here. And at some point, something went really, really wrong because the way she's responding tells me that he has some culpability in regards to how things have been handled up to this point. And in that case, I think there's some responsibility on both sides for sure. But this is just sad because you don't want to see Black love played out like this. You know what I'm saying? Two adults should be able to amicably move on and find a way to just move on and cherish the love that they had and let that love show. Because to me, that would be the time that love needs to show the most. You know what I'm saying? When things are like not the greatest. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I just want to push back on one thing. Like my assertion that he is a beta male is not meant to demean him. There are all sorts of males. There's alphas and betas, and there's even sigmas. You know what I mean? And although we tend to think of them in a hierarchy, they're just the different ways that you present. Sometimes a man likes to play Batman to the Robin to his woman's Batman. You know what I mean? And that's okay because they still out there solving their crimes and doing what they got to do. You know what I mean? So all respect. I personally am not an alpha man. I am, by divine nine, standards, but not by whatever. I think if I was to clarify myself, I'd be a Sigma. And that's definitely not a fraternity I joined. So anyway, long story short, no shade to Papoose for being a beta. Any of you betas out there, you know what I mean? Hey, I don't think it's a hierarchy. We just move different. And that's good. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say that I actually wasn't demeaning. I was saying that he took on these non-traditional roles in the way the society is set up. That was actually giving kudos to him. That's why I was upset with the way the relationship played out, because this dude was upstanding by all accords, right? And he did the things that most folks don't do, or some folks, because you said that there are more who do, so that some folks don't do, but he did it in the public eye. And that's why I loved about it. And that's why it was this great love story that ended up going into these jabs between each other. And I'm going to say Remy was wrong. Like, I thought Remy was wrong from the start because she was moving recklessly and she got with somebody who didn't know the rules. I'm going to call it the rules, because he put it on Front Street at a battle that he was basically slamming the boss. So I just think I just wanted to clarify that I do believe he deserves grace because he was doing these things. I actually believe 100% that Remy is at fault in this relationship and the way it turned out. And while he may have, and I'm going to say that he may have responsibility in how she may have been moving, right, in regards to if there was some drama or static behind the scenes and whatnot that we're not aware of. But in the court of public opinion, this dude was everything that most Black women in particular asked for. He was supportive. He had the vision. He was uplifting. He was a full-time father. as far as when I say full-time, it's because he was everybody, black fathers, I wanna go ahead and put that out there, are more involved in the child's life when they're in the child's life. But in his case, he was the primary caretaker. And so by all accords, he was what we asked for, and she shitted all over that. And that's where my problem was.
Well, so okay, so I'm just push back slightly, right? Because I do get your point in regards to non-traditional or traditionally men didn't move a certain type of way, but it's not like he out here cooking and necessarily just cleaning. I mean, he got a couple of dollars and he has support when it comes to taking care of his kids. So I don't want to go too far in regards to painting it out to make it seem like he's a single dad taking care of all his responsibilities of the home and all of that, right? It's a different kind of life, right? So that's just want to say that. That's number one. Number two, I still got to push back on the beta thing. I'm not saying that it's an issue with being a beta. I'm saying that I think if he was still leading, right, that wouldn't make him a beta. If he was still the one that's pushing forth the narrative, he was the one that was pushing forth the branding, if he was the one that was pushing for the reality show deals, if he was the one that was basically managing, et cetera, like that doesn't mean to me, I wouldn't be a beta. To me, a beta is somebody who's more passenger seat. You know, he has a high strung, hyperactive person, and that person's constantly leading, and that person's in the hey, I'm here for the ride, whatever you want, babe. Matter of fact, Kamala husband was a beta, right? Kamala Harris's husband. I don't get that. That to me was beta. So I'm not saying that,
Okay.
there's a difference and that and there's a judgment there. I'm just saying I don't think Papoose was that because I feel like there was more there. The other thing I want to push back on too is because Clarissa, you mentioned Clarissa, like just because she's a boxer doesn't mean that like she doesn't submit, bro. Like just because she comes across a certain type of way, I get how it is so easy for us to look at her and be like, and think she's a certain thing. But as a black man who has dealt with women who come across a certain type of way and seen them be completely the opposite, I'm here to tell you, my brother, it is completely possible that he is still an alpha in that relationship too, right? Because in the relationship context, women be looking for a strong enough dude to submit to. And I got to tell you that I do believe that she feels like she found a dude strong enough to submit to. Because Clarissa does not give me the type of energy that she just want to be hard all the time or that she would be with a soft ass nigga. You dig what I'm saying? I don't get that from her. But I see how we can look at that and be like, oh, okay. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think sometimes we as people do make judgments, right? I mean, to be honest, we gave Remy a lot of grace. Like, what exactly did she do through since we've known her to show us for her to be a certain type of way, right? She shot her friend supposedly over a couple $1,000s. She spent some prison time doing that, right? She had a couple of hits lean back. And so now all this dirty laundry is coming out. And while it makes them both look bad, right? But it definitely makes her look horrible because again, what else do we have from her to show like, oh, at least she got some banging albums, right? I mean, she got a couple of great singles. You know what I'm saying? So I get, and it's funny because when I watch her videos, I get that she is hurt. I think emotionally, she is the one lashing out. Because, you can tell when a woman's lashing out, when they be looking for a reason to lash out. Like, let that girl say my name. Bitch, she didn't even say nothing negative for real, for real. You was just looking for a reason to pop off while claiming you've moved on, right? Which is what's also befuddling to me, right? So we're seeing this toxic bullshit being played out in real time, and it's making them both look bad. But I will say this though, we got to stop putting our little baskets into these fake black love shits, right? Because they get exposed sometimes. So I think we can mythically believe in black love, right? Or through our own self-expression, but pinning it on people who are human beings, especially celebrities, especially C-list, D-list celebrities going through that what they're going through, man, yeah, I think we can back up off that once and for all. What say y'all?
I'm laughing
Right.
because you downgraded them from B to C to D.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
did. He did. I,
I was like, Nick
I
throwing some shade there.
I
But
mean, if battle rap is your claim to fame at this point, and I mean more so for Remy than Papoose, then what are we talking about?